Hello, welcome to the 13th and final edition of the Vendée Mag. A wave of finishers arrived in Les Sables d'Olonne this week. Our expert Michel Desjoyeaux shares his insights on their race, and we go inside Sébastien Simon's Groupe Dubreuil to see what an IMOCA yacht looks like after a Vendée Globe.
Bravo Jérémie. Ok, merci beaucoup.
Fourth place for Jérémie Beyou aboard Charal on his fifth Vendée Globe. The skipper from Brittany achieved his best round-the-world performance after a third place in 2016 and two retirements in 2008 and 2012. If resilience is the hallmark of great sailors, then Jérémie is certainly one of them.
Some fourth places feel like a defeat. This one, though, it's more like a victory. I took some time to accept that I could fare no better than fourth, but at the end of the day, I'm proud of what I've accomplished. Some races are easier and smoother than others. I've been in Figaro mode almost since the Indian Ocean. Foolies and Wellingtons on. There's stuff all over the floor. When you eat on the floor, you sleep on the floor, you read the weather on the floor, you one hand constantly on the sheet. You've got to be ready for that, though, to earn a good place in races like this now.
A mere 10 hours after the Charal skipper, Paul Meilhat entered the channel on biotherm. He was reunited with his young family to a chorus of cheers from the crowd, who hailed his performance and acknowledged his integrity.
What a feeling! It's wonderful to see people and smiling faces. I hadn't seen a soul for 2.5 months. It was really intense. What I've loved about this Vendée Globe, compared with my last one, is the fact that I've always been racing against other skippers. It was fantastic. We really motivated each other. Whenever someone had an issue, we sent messages and supported each other. So that was lovely. Racing's only worthwhile if you have opponents, and really, I couldn't have had any better. They've all won the Solitaire du Figaro several times. It's amazing how the level of the Vendée Globe has improved. It's super. I do find that incredible. A top-notch global regatta.
En termes de niveau, c'est super. Moi, je trouve ça génial. Régate planétaire de haut niveau.
The next ones due in were Benjamin Dutreux and Clarisse, who've been sailing almost alongside each other since the equator.
Just 3 or 4 days to go now, so we're nearly there. I'm going flat out in any case to finish as soon as possible. I'm trying to find the right balance to sail fast and get home soon.
Meanwhile, the tracker surprisingly seemed to show Sam Davis's IMOCA turning back. The Initiative Kerr skipper was planning ahead, holding off her arrival in Les Sables d'Olonne until the imminent storm had died down.
I'm forced to tread water here until another weather window opens, so I can reach the finish line safely. You know, I think the next 3 days are going to be very long. Racing on hold and adventure in full swing.
In doing so, the British skipper let 12th place slip in favour of her German counterpart.
Nice view, nice quiet moment. It's nice to be here. I'm also a bit sad it's going to be over soon. 3, 4 or 5 days, we don't know yet.
Back in Les Sables d'Olonne, Nicolas Lunven on Holcim completed his single-handed round the world on Friday the 24th of January at 20:51.
It's so well organised they've even brought a touch of Brittany weather to Vendée for me. So kind. Thanks a lot.
The skipper from Brittany secured 6th place in 75 days and 7 hours after an excellent race amongst the front runners.
The mind works in strange ways, but I'll remember the good moments. Hopefully the bad ones will slowly fade away. But to be honest, that last week of the race was tough. Difficult weather conditions, and a few technical issues that really threw a spanner in the works on the boat. Not easy to manage. Topped off by that hellish final night in the Bay of Biscay. With the weather, the sea state, and the traffic. And you add to that the stress of breaking something or hitting a fishing boat or something. It's a bit like the Figaro, except that when you race in the Figaro, it's not off the back of 74 days at sea.
A skipper exhausted by a ruthless round the world, but a nonetheless happy man ascended the channel 9 hours later. It was Thomas Ruyant on Vulnerable 2 who completed his third Vendée Globe in 75 days, 16 hours.
From a result perspective, it's not what we hoped for. If you'd offered me 7th place, I'd have refused. And maybe that would have been silly of me, because ultimately it has been a great race, with battles throughout.
Even
if my initial goal was to be among the leaders, well, I can't have any regrets. And that's what makes this race so special. You can't really be disappointed. And that's what I'll take away. I don't want to be bitter because I gave it my all throughout, from building the boat to the end of the race. I never gave up, even when problems arose. Well, that's something I'm really proud of.
Justine Mettraux will remain one of the leading figures of this 10th Vendée Globe. Taking part for the first time, the Teamwork Team Snef skipper became the fastest woman ever to sail around the world. Admired by her peers Catherine Chabot, Isabelle Autissier and Pip Hare, the 38-year-old Swiss sailor completed her race in 76 days and 1 hour.
I really had an amazing time all the way to Cape Horn. After that, the sail back up was tough till the very end. It was a fight to cross the finish line, but I'm really happy I succeeded and brought back the boat, all with a great team.
British sailor Sam Goodchild followed in her wake, entering the channel less than an hour later. After 76 days and 2 hours at sea, the skipper of Vulnerable finished 9th in his first Vendée Globe.
Mission accomplished. I set out to cross the finish line and then to have fun. I had a great time. The final week was a bit more challenging, but overall, yeah, it's mission accomplished, so I'm happy. It was a little frustrating to be in the top 5 and miss out, but that's the race.
Battling cross seas and shifting winds, the second group of IMOCA yachts continued its challenging ascent of the North Atlantic, with 2,700 miles remaining to Le Sable d'Olonne.
And this time has been seriously uncomfortable. It's been incredibly varied. You know, that we've had winds as low as 14, now I've got 28, and it's been gusting up to 48 knots. And so I really don't know what kind of sail plan to use in that. But J3 and 2 reefs, which is pretty conservative, and kind of works as a good in-between for all of those crazy conditions. But the sea state is super bumpy, really, really uncomfortable.
I've never seen anything like it. Never. Never. Never in my life. And I've clocked up a lot of miles. It's been unbearable on board for 48 hours. I can't sleep, I can't eat, I can't do anything. It's crazy how bumpy it is. I don't think the boat's experienced such a strain since the start of the Vendée. She's slamming too hard, and I'm done for. It's a technical knockout. I no longer have the strength. I'm sick of this. I'm really tired, exhausted. I'll be fine.
Storm Hermina, with winds of over 100 kilometers per hour, made landfall in the west of France. As planned, the race management set up a storm line, a compulsory gate away from the coast to guarantee the safety of the boats and sailors. Although Benjamin Dutreux and Clarisse both crossed the finish line off Les Sables d'Olonne, they had to moor in La Rochelle whilst waiting for calmer weather.
I've pushed myself more than ever. Whether you're up a mountain or out at sea, it's when you're up against the elements and in a hard place that you see what you're capable of. And it's just huge. Thank you for coming. You're amazing.
Je me disais, voilà, humblement que j'aimerais bien faire un top 10.
I was hoping for a top 10 finish, but looking at the lineup, I wasn't sure that it was possible. Still, I gave it my all, and it paid off, so I'm super proud. Because we're still not a big team, and yet we're moving mountains. We did it in the last Vendée Globe, and today we're proving again that believing in your dreams matters. Every journey has a beginning. You just have to take that first step.
Faut savoir se lancer.
And who was it who crossed the Vendée Globe finish line alone in the dead of night? Alone, but with the same joy. Finishing this Vendée Globe feels amazing. It wasn't easy, but the adventure was incredible. I'm proud of my team and all our hard work. I'm so happy to be back with family and friends and see the warm welcome in La Rochelle. This port wasn't the one planned, but I'm not the only one in the wrong place.
Eight finishers are expected on Monday the 3rd of February in Les Sables d'Olonne. For once, the IMOCA yachts in question should enjoy favourable weather conditions.
The horizon is particularly beautiful.
Alors voilà, clac, clac, clac.
Right, I'll clean up the mess. Love to you all. See you later, alligator.
Bon bah les amis.
I think this is probably the most beautiful sunset of the Vendée Globe.
Le plus beau coucher de soleil du Vendée Globe.
Nice, isn't it?
C'est le dernier parce que là on va rentrer.
This is the last one before we hit a small low that's going to propel us straight into winter. So it's going to get pretty icy. Good. It's about time.
For the backmarkers, on the other hand, the Azores High is back to normal. This should slow their progress slightly towards the end of the race.
There's a storm in France, and the weather's great here. It's very warm. You're probably going to say, you're not going to start yelling while we're freezing to death. I'll give the sea your love. Ciao.
Now, if I were to say twice winner of the Vendée Globe and three-time winner of the Solitaire de Figaro, who would that be? Michel Desjoyeaux, of course. And I'm honoured to be joined today by the man known quite rightly as the Professor. Michel, hello.
Michel, bonjour.
Hello.
Over the past few days, we've seen a wave of IMOCA yachts crossing the finish line and docking in Les Sables d'Olonne. Did any of these finishes in particular stand out for you?
Wow, tough question to start with. I was there, close up with Nicolas Lunven's friends and family at sea and in the Channel. I went to watch Sam Goodchild dock as well, because I like him, and I know him a little bit too. And then, of course, we can't overlook the amazing performance of the first woman, Justine Mettraux, now the fastest woman around the world single-handed on IMOCA. I mean, she's a great sailor. And there's one thing that all these sailors have in common, and that's that they're unstoppable. They're all really focused unwaveringly on getting to Les Sables d'Olonne. And of course that made for a great battle. Admittedly, there does seem to be quite a gulf between the first two or three and the rest of the fleet, we have to admit that. A series of weather systems did favour those at the front, but the chasing pack put up a strong fight too, resulting in several changes in the rankings. In any case, it was an exciting race to follow from land.
Many sailors are calling it a global regatta, a round-the-world version of the Solitaire de Figaro. Do you agree with this view?
Est-ce que vous partagez cette analyse?
I think there is a lesson to be learned for future editions of the race. Back in my time, thinking back, the recurring theme was boats have a long memory. The race is long. You must stay the pace. You need to preserve yourself and preserve the boat, all that sort of thing. Well, it seems like those old ideas no longer apply. It's true you need to be a skilled sailor, but equally an excellent racer, and I mean right from the outset. Think about the race's pace and the intensity. Charlie said it felt like he'd been gone for 48 hours. Okay, an exaggeration, but it highlights its minute-by-minute nature, how fierce the racing really was.
Now, 20-odd sailors are still at sea, and they're facing rough conditions, which are fairly typical at this time of year in the North Atlantic. So, do you think it just goes to show that you need extraordinary stamina to finish this race?
The uncertainty of the weather is a constant in our sport. It's part of what makes it so nuanced. We have energy that's free to use, but its force and its direction, they're unpredictable. You have to work with it, as Samantha did when she held back, avoiding the obstacle. I think she would have had a different attitude if she was competing for first or second. But she put the race on hold, which reflects her role and responsibility as a sailor.
Well, you can see that both the sailors and the boats are worn out at this stage in the race. So, given your experience, do you have any advice for sailors currently navigating rough conditions at sea?
Sometimes, when you see the front-runners racing a global Solitaire du Figaro, you forget that it's already an extraordinary achievement just to be there at the start. And for those behind, finishing, because the boats and the skippers, they're both suffering. A few have been left by the wayside this year. There aren't that many of them, though. I'm quite surprised about that. I expected there might be more damage and retirements in the Indian Ocean, which is arguably the most challenging sea. Well, in the end, it's for the best, the result of accumulated experience. Racing the Vendée Globe is already a big challenge, and for some, achieving a result really is the icing on the cake. But finishing is already an exceptional achievement. Let's not forget that.
Thank you very much, Michel. Now, ever wondered what an IMOCA yacht looks like after a round-the-world race? Well, in this week's Inside Report, we join Team Dubreuil as they inspect Sébastien Simon's IMOCA. We'll start by removing the J2 as there's no wind today and it's forecast to get worse towards the weekend and next week. So we'll start there, all four of us, Toto, Martin, Andreas and me. Okay? Let's go! There are 8 of us in the team right now, 4 for the technical aspects of the boat and 4 for the logistics, communication and admin. As boat captain, I'm the boat's technical manager. I'm in charge of the boat when the skipper's not around. I keep an eye on the boat's overall state so that she can sail under the best possible conditions.
Puisse naviguer toujours dans les meilleures conditions possibles. Martin, il est...
Martin's Spanish. His job is composite. So everything to do with the structure. You can take that down. He's in charge of the structural and composite part of the boat. There's also Andreas, who's German. He looks after the onboard computers and electronics. And Thomas takes care of the mechanical components of hydraulics.
Mécanique et hydraulique.
In the first week of February, we'll take down the mast and remove the foils, the keel, the rudders, remove all the systems so we can clean and check absolutely everything. The boat structure will be inspected by experts after that, and we'll be almost down to the bare hull by then.
It's in good nick, considering.
This sail is always in place, either furled or unfurled, as this is the cable that supports the mast. The sail has aged well. The sail is going to be sent to the sail loft where it'll be inspected to see if it needs repairing or reinforcing and how many more miles we can get out of it in the 2025 or 2026 season. Here we have the foil casings. This is the starboard casing, the side with the broken foil. We're checking the mechanical part of the chocks for damage, and we'll try and lower the starboard foil just a little to see if it's completely jammed, or if we can move it a little bit so that we can take it out over the next few days.
Pour pouvoir le démonter dans les prochains jours.
Okay, Silo 4. Okay, you have it? What? Okay, it's okay for you, no? Yes. Okay, we take up the foil. Can you check from inside? Okay.
We weren't really expecting a broken foil. Fortunately, it didn't damage the rest of the boat, and she was able to finish the race. But it's the biggest technical issue we've had on board.
Okay, foil down. Ça descend. Ok, foil down. Stop, stop.
What's it like at your end?
Not very good.
Jamming in the chocks?
Yep.
I
think we'll try and compress the foil with ratchet straps so that we can lower it, because it's expanded quite a lot, and that's one of the reasons why it won't come down through the chocks. So compressing it might help a little bit.
It's opening up as you lower it.
Yes, that's it. It's the same inside the boat.
Can you strap it inside the boat?
Yes.
So we'll put one on the outside and one on the inside, lower it until it's flush, and then remove yours and put another one on.
Yes, we thought we'd try that first. So far, no surprises on the boat. Just little things that Seb didn't mention, but really nothing very serious at all. Routine stuff that's not necessarily caused by the Vendée Globe. So far, we've been pleasantly surprised by the boat's condition.